They are enormous floating resorts, and every year millions of travellers ride the high seas, basking in the sun and fun. But some cruise ship passengers embark on a vacation never to return, mysteriously disappearing at sea. Kendall Carver learned this disturbing truth the hard way when his 40-year-old daughter boarded a 7-day celebrity Royal Caribbean cruise to Alaska and was never seen again. She's one of more than 250 people who have disappeared from cruise ships in the last decade.
We still don't know what happened to Marion.
Marion Carver was a former investment banker from Cambridge, Massachusetts. She was divorced and her 13-year-old daughter was spending the summer with her ex-husband in England when she decided to take a cruise to Alaska.
Marion was a serious person. In her short lifetime, she was very successful.
Her parents didn't even know she was on a cruise that fateful August in 2004 until they got a frantic call from Marion's daughter, who hadn't heard from her in a week. When they couldn't reach her, they filed a missing persons report in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where she lived.
The Cambridge police located a credit card transaction which showed the airplane ticket going to Seattle, the cruise ticket, and the return flight.
Marion never made the flight home. The cruise line confirmed she was on the ship, but they didn't notify family or contact law enforcement when she went missing.
Marion would have vanished in thin air if we'd waited for the cruise lines to contact us. They'd known from the beginning that Marion was missing, and yet Stonewallis hadn't contacted the FBI until a week after we'd finally contacted them.
The Carvers searched for 10 months, hunting down clues, even hiring international investigators and attorneys. They spent $75,000 trying to find out what happened to their daughter.
The first question we asked when we realized Marion was not on that ship was their video. And they kept saying they couldn't find her on the tape. First they said there was no tape, they'd erased it. Then all the tape was broke.
The Carvers never received any security tapes, just one blurry shot of Marion boarding the ship.
If there was a tape that showed Marion on that ship at some stage, it showed her going overboard, that would have been the end of the story. Instead of that, they kept denying it, and that only raises questions.
Private investigators eventually learned the last activity on her shipboard account was for room service the second night of the cruise.
The steward reported Marion missing 2 days into the cruise and said she wasn't using her room and kept reporting it daily.
When the Carvers investigators finally tracked him down, the cabin steward revealed that on the final day of the cruise, after all passengers had left the ship, he was told to pack up Marion's belongings and take her handbag and put it in storage.
It would have been so easy for the cruise lines to say, hey, here's the steward, talk to him. And they don't want to do that. They think he'll go away.
Marion's father asked Royal Caribbean for her belongings to be returned, but never got those either.
We finally got emails saying that they took her items that were in the room and disposed of them.
The Carvers didn't get answers to many of their questions, but eventually Royal Caribbean released a statement saying Marion appears to have committed suicide on our ship.
We did not have a service for Marion for months because we didn't know what had happened.
We repeatedly asked Royal Caribbean to respond, but received no reply. Ross Klein has researched cruise ship crime and testified before Congress on safety issues at sea. He says the FBI rarely investigates overboard incidents because they get so little information.
The problem is that when these people disappear in a mysterious way, automatically it's, well, they jumped, they fell, we're not going to investigate any further.
One reason passengers rarely consider the flag their ship is sailing under or the legal implications of cruising in international waters.
When you step on that cruise ship, you're in another country that does not enforce their laws. and that they're serving unlimited alcohol, their security, they have no police. So you need to be aware of that.
Alcohol and unfamiliar territory are other factors which make disappearances so hard to trace. And other passengers often have murky recollections about their fellow shipmates. Investigating missing persons can be a difficult task, especially when they disappear aboard a moving vessel on the open sea.
There are about, on average, 20 to 22 people missing from cruise ships every year. There's accidents. We know that people do stupid things and they go over the railings and they fall. I think what's problematic, though, are those that are mysterious. About a third of the cases, there's no clear explanation of what happened.
We asked the Cruise Lines International Association about man-overboard systems that would sound an alarm if someone went over the railing, and they responded that systems are still in a testing phase. MOB detection systems are emerging technologies that face unique challenges in a marine environment, particularly with a multi-storey cruise ship.
Crew only with emergency duties to proceed to their assigned emergency.
Man-overboard systems may be years away from being implemented on all cruise ships, but experts say just being aware of the risks will help keep you safe on a vacation at sea.
It's a matter of going on and not assuming safety. Don't assume that other passengers aren't a threat. Don't assume that a crew member isn't a threat. Go on with your eyes open.
Now, Kendall Carver and other families with missing passengers formed the International Cruise Victims Association to help pressure lawmakers to mandate changes in the cruise industry. The association then helped pass the Cruise Vessel Security and Safety Act, which now requires mandatory reporting of major shipboard crimes, as well as making sure all passenger doors have security latches.